If you're trying to go pro or just generally are trying to improve at Fortnite competitive, then playing 1v1s is completely useless unless you go about them properly. Here's the thing, when it comes to 1v1s, most people just play and verse whoever they want. Maybe just whoever they find in creative fill, maybe some random person off of a random scrim Discord, or even just a random friend they have that is just kind of fun to play against. Then they play with really fast-paced playstyles, low-key just going for clips, not trying that hard because it kind of just takes too much energy to do so, and so on. They also never want to verse players who absolutely destroy them, and they also basically only ever play build fights and zone wars. You see, 1v1s are actually great practice until you do them like everyone does them and they suddenly become useless. So that's why in this video I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know about 1v1s and how to get the most improvement out of them as possible. First of all, the basics. What type of 1v1s should you do? I heavily recommend to mostly do 1v1 realistics, as these are the closest thing you can get to replicating in-game fighting with things like restricted mats, loadouts, etc. Some build fights or even zone wars sporadically thrown in there every now and then is completely fine, especially if you aren't just mindlessly spamming builds in them. But just keep it to mostly 1v1 realistics. Yeah, ranked is like basically the most realistic fighting practice you can get, but in 1v1s the thing is you are almost 100% in fighting practice all of the time, which basically means you get to practice fighting more in that, but ranked still has its upside, so both are advised to play. Now second of all, you might not realize it, but how you play these 1v1s is actually insanely important too. Like I explained before, most people during 1v1s might try a bit, but will still go for some clips, be kind of flashy, not care so much about being efficient, and so on. Ultimately playing nothing like they would play in tournaments. Which is weird because isn't your goal to practice fighting to become better at fighting in tournaments? So shouldn't your practice try to simulate fighting in tournaments as much as possible? Yes, exactly, you would and should. So during your 1v1 practice, you need to focus on using a slow, methodical playstyle that is trying to win against your opponent by outsmarting them and not just out-meching them. You need to be at least somewhat conservative with your mats, not going for clips just for the sake of getting clips, and genuinely actually try really hard to win. But now, the most important part of making 1v1s actually efficient practice comes down to who you verse. For the majority of your practice, your goal should be to verse people similarly skilled to you. Which means that if you were to play a match of 1v1 realistics first to 10 wins, and you were both trying pretty hard to win, then maybe the score might end up something like 8 to 10 and it actually felt really challenging to you. This is the best of both worlds because first of all, when you verse like really significantly worse players, they just won't punish your mistakes, therefore you're not going to learn and improve. The thing is that worse players just do not push you to improve because you are already winning against them so much and you don't feel that pressure to get better to win. Which is actually the complete opposite of when you verse good players because they will push you to improve and fix all your mistakes and bad habits so that you can actually win against them. And yeah, you might be thinking now, well, why shouldn't I just verse players that are way better than me? While the problem with versing someone so much better than you is that they quite literally don't even give you hardly any chances to actually make plays and work on your skills. But what they do really well is actually really humble you and show you your deep weaknesses that you would have never found out you had if you were to verse anyone else. And that's why I recommend for the most part just verse similarly skilled players. And then every now and then, like maybe once to twice a week, you want to verse someone so good that you're lucky if you even win a round or two. Hey, are you still stuck being a beginner to Fortnite competitive? Because I created an ebook which talks about all the common mistakes I've seen beginners make and, well, obviously how to fix them too. And the best part is, bro, I just decided to literally give it out for free, so you might want to check it out, bro. Click the link in the description.